Dito ba ka? Aling Pasing,
Ang batang ito, andiyan ka na naman.
ano ba tumama sa waiting ngayon?
Baka na naman yung diangkot.
Ano, piatos? Babayaran ko to pagka nagpadala si Mami.
Aba, ang haba ng listahan mo dito. Kailan ba ito babayaran?
Si Aling Pasing naman, parang di na ako kilala. Nagbabayad naman ako ng utang pag nagpapadala si Mami. Ay, pero nga iba. Alam mo yung ano, yung tumama sa waiting
Ay,
ngayon?
naku, kinikwento mo na naman ikaw magbayad.
Si Aling Pasing naman eh. Wala na akong pera. Ito yung wallet ko. Tignan mo. O, di ba? Walang laman.
Ano bang magagawa ko? Yung nabuksan mo na.
Si Aling Pasing naman, parang namang ibang tao yung nangungutang sa kanya eh. Nagbigyan mo na, ngayon na lang
Okay,
ito.
basta yun babayaran mo.
Parang man wala pala tayong tubig.
Para mangutang tayo kay Aling Pasing.
Po, Aling Pasing. Mga ba na bilistahan namin dyan, baka pwede nakakuha ng tubig. Bayaran ko lang kalahati yung soldo na nung Sabado. Tulit, may natawag pa rin, ikaw naman ako kumanap.
Aling Pasing, pwede ba makakakuha ng dilata?
Ano bang dilata ang utangin mo? Kailan mo babayaran?
Sa Sabado.
Siguro doon mo sa Sabado. Ilan?
Isa lang. Ako po?
Mare, doon ka ba, Mare? Oh, Mare, ikaw pala. Ano ba?
Mari, baka naman pwede kami makakuha muna ng diaphragm din na anak mo. Kasi kapag na yun eh.
Kaya nga, Mare, ito kasi kumpare mo. Nawala ng alis na naman sa trabaho niya. Hindi nakakulit talaga ako kumuha ng trabaho sa palengke. Kaya nga, Mare. Diaper ba ka mo?
Oo, Mari, kailangan na talaga eh.
Kahit isa lang, kahit pangalan lang. Ay, siya, yun lang ba? Ay, walang problema, Mari, basta kayo. Dagdagan mo na lang ng dagdagan mo pa ng revisto para sa inaanak ko. Alam, maraming salamat naman, Mari. Hindi, walang problema. Sige, kukunin ko lang muna yung diaper. Ay, naku. Puno na naman ang listahan ko. Kaya nalulugi, puro na lang utang.
Paring Pasing, maaari ba akong umutang?
A pleasant day, everyone. We are Group 2, and I will be the first presenter to discuss the first topic involved in data management, which is the gathering and organizing of data. I am Marie Claire C. Monterde, first year from Bachelor of Science in Hospitality Management. To formally start our discussion, let me first tell you what is data management. Data management is the process by which information is acquired and processed to ensure the accessibility and reliability of the data for its users. Learning outcomes. At the end of this chapter, you must be able to, first, is to use variety of statistical tools to process and manage numerical data. Second is to use the methods of linear regression and correlation to predict the value of the variable given certain conditions. And lastly is to advocate the use of statistical data in making important decisions. When we heard about the phrase gathering and organizing of data, the first word that comes to our mind was the data itself. So, according to ASAD 2004, the data are the quantities, which is the numbers, or qualities, which is the attributes, that is measured or observed that are to be collected and analyzed. The collection of data is called data sets. The 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on is an example of data sets. There are two categories of data. The first is the categorical data, which uses non-parametric statistics, and the second one is the continuous data, which uses parametric statistics. So now, let us see the difference between the categorical and continuous data. Categorical data has nominal and ordinal scales. Nominal scales are consist of a finite set of values having no particular order. Examples are gender, mode of transformation, nationality, and occupations. The next one is the ordinal scales, which is the set of possible values having a specific order. Example are pain level and social status. On the other hand, continuous data has ratio and interval scales. Ratio scales are the variables have an option for 0. The difference between the two variables is the same, and there is a specific order between the options, such as Kelvin scale and time periods. And lastly is the interval scales, which is measured on continuum, and differences between any number on the scale are the known size, such as tons of garbage, age, and income. Also, when we heard the phrase gathering and organizing of data, the second thing that comes to our mind is variable. Variable refers to a property that can take on different values or categories which cannot be predicted with certainty. There are three common types of variables. The first one is the independent variables, second is dependent variables, and third is the control variables. Independent variable is also called as X or explanatory variables. It may be continuous, nominal, or ordinal. The second is the dependent variable, which is also called as Y or response variable. The third one is the control variable, which is also called as Z variables. We have to remember that in independent variables, the variables is altered during the scientific experiment, while in the dependent variable is the variable was being measured and tested during the scientific variable. While in the control variable, the variable is kept same during the scientific experiment. Variables are also be classified as quantitative and qualitative variables. Quantitative variables is one that can be measured and ordered according to quantity. It may be discrete and continuous variable, where discrete includes finite and countable finite, while continuous covers the values in an interval of real number line. The second variable is the qualitative variable, which is one simple use as labels to distinguish one group from the another. And for you to be familiar with these two variables, qualitative variables is described using a numeric scales or numbers, while qualitative numbers was described without a number. The data gathered shall be presented, analyzed, and interpreted that can be easily understood by the readers. Data may be presented in textual, tabular, graphical, or a combination of this. The first type is the textual presentation. It uses statements with numerals in order to describe the data for the concrete information and in expository form. It aims to discuss the data, information, and interpretation it carries. The next one is the tabular presentation, which uses a statistical table to directly display the quantities and values collected as data. The third type is the graphical presentation, which illustrates data in the form of graphs, aiding readers to understand the text easily. It is the most attractive, effective, and convincing way. It can be presented in a bar graph, circle graph, line graph, and pectograph. The data gathered should be properly organized to group data, which is called frequency distribution. These following steps should be considered in order to construct frequency distribution. First step is to determine as to estimate number of classes, k equals 1 plus 3 log n, where n is the number of population. Second is to determine the range equals highest value minus lowest value. Third is to obtain the class size equals range divide k. Fourth is to set the lowest value as the first lower limit and get the upper limit, which is equal to first lower limit plus class size minus 1. And lastly is to do the same process again until you reach the last class limit that includes the highest value from the data. I have here a set of data. As we count all of this data, it will be equal to 60. Why? Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 10 times 6 equals 60. So 60 is the number of population, which is the n. This will be the solution for our first example in order to construct a frequency distribution table. So let's elaborate it. So again, our first step is to determine as to estimate number of classes k. 1 equals 1 plus 3 log n, where n is the number of population. So here, our number of population, or n, is 60. So log 60 equals to 1.77815125. So it will be k equals 1 plus 3 times 1.77815125. So 3 times 1.77815125 equal to 5.3344536. So 1 plus 5.3344536 equals to 6. It is round up. So therefore, 6 is the estimate number of classes in this data. The second step is to determine the range. So the formula for range is range equals to highest value minus lowest value. So R equals 29 because 29 is the highest value for this data, minus 10 because 10 is the lowest value for this data, so it will be equal to 19. Our third step is to obtain the class size. So the formula for class size is class size equals to range divide k, or the estimate number of classes. So our range is 19 and our k is 6. 19 divided 6 equals to 3.16. It will be rounded, so our class size will be 3. Because our data is a whole number, our class size should be whole number 2. And now, let's move on constructing frequency distribution table. So our two remaining steps are set the lowest value as the first lower limit and get the upper limit, which is equal to first lower limit plus class size minus 1. And to do the same process again until you reach the last class limit that includes the highest value from the data. So here, 10 is our lowest value. So it will be our first lower limit. So 10 plus 3, which is the class size, equals 13. 13 plus 3 equals 16. 16 plus 3 equals 19. 19 plus 3 equals 22. 22 plus 3 equals 25. 25 plus 3 equals 28. Let's find our upper limit. In order for us to know or find the upper limit, we must know its formula. So the formula for upper limit is the first lower limit plus class size minus 1. So 10 is our first lower limit. 10 plus class size, which is 3, minus 1 equals 12. 13 plus 3 minus 1 equals 15. 16 plus 3 minus 1 equals 18. And so on and so forth. The next column for our frequency distribution table is the frequency. It can be found by counting the number of observations in each interval according to the given data. So here is from 28 to 30, it only had 1 observation. From 25 to 27, there is only 4 observations. 22 to 24, it only had 5 observations. And from 19 to 21 and 16 to 18, it only had 10 observations. And for 13 to 15, it only had 11 observations. And from 10 to 12, there is only 19 observations. So 1 plus 4 plus 5 plus 10 plus 10 plus 11 plus 19 is equal to 60, which is our N, or number of population. Another example is here. These data are the scores of 40 students in a 50-item math exam. It is obvious that our N is 40 because 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 times 4 equals 40. So N is 40. By following the steps for constructing frequency distribution table, this will be our solution. Number 1, K equals 1 plus 3 log 40 is equal to 6 because it is rounded up. And second is the range. 48 is the highest value and 13 is the lowest value. So 48 minus 13 equals 35. And third is the class size. So 35 is our range and 6 is our class interval. So 35 divided 6 equals to 5.83. And it will be rounded to 6. Now is our frequency distribution table. 13 is our first lower class limit and 43 is our last lower class limit. While 18 is the first upper class limit and 48 is the last upper class limit. And it is our frequency, which is total to 40. That's all. Thank you.
So hi, good day. My name is Justin Makeda from BSHM1, and now we are tackling about the interpretation of data. So first things first, what is interpretation of data? Interpretation of data. Any given data in statistics are useless if we don't interpret them. The most appropriate measures found to be useful in describing the distribution of observations are the measure of central tendency, measures of variation, measures of relative position, z-scores, box and whisker plot, probability and normal curve, linear progression, and correlation. Now, let's proceed to my topic, which is the measure of central tendency. Central tendency determines a numerical value in the central region of the distribution of scores. Central tendency refers to the center of distribution of observation. There are 3 measures of central tendency: the mean, the median, and the mode. These are used when the general or overall performance of the class is compared to other classes. So now, let's find the mean, the median, and the mode of ungrouped data. Now, let's discuss the first measure of central tendency, which is the mean. Mean is the most commonly used measures of central tendency. The mean is also called the arithmetic mean or average. It is the sum of all items or terms divided by the total numbers of items or score. So meaning, ito po ay yung kadalasan natin ginagamit pag nakuha tayo ng mga average natin sa ating grades. So mean comes with its own formula, where mean is equals to the sum of scores, o ito yung tinatawag natin na pag pinagsama-sama natin yung lahat na nakuha nating score, pinag-add-add natin, divided by the total number of scores, kung ilan lahat yung items na ating scores na pagsasama-samahin. So, now, let's get to our example number 1. So now, we are computing the mean of ungrouped data, where it has the formula of mean is equal to the sum of the value divided by the number of the value. Example number 1. The 10 students got the following grade in MMW: 85, 89, 95, 87, 86, 75, 96, 97, 91, and 92. Find the mean. Now, we're going to solve it. Okay, para mahanap natin yung n or yung number ng value, ito ay yung bibilangin lang natin kung gaano karami yung given. So, ibig sabihin, ilan sila? Okay. So, to get the mean of this given for our value, we need to use this formula. Okay. Sabihin, mean is equal to the sum of the value, which is yung, pag pinag-plus-plus natin ito, dapat yung ilalagay natin dito. Okay? It is 893. So, n, dahil ito yung n because is equivalent to 10 kung ilan lahat yung given na value. So, ibig sabihin 10 is equals to 89.3. So, therefore, the average of this value is 89.8. That's why how you get the mean. Now we're going to solve the example number 2. The ages of 5 teenagers inside the center of the following: 16, 19, 17, 18, and 15. Find their average age. So, let's get to example number 2. So, paano natin makukuha yung mean dating gawin? Sabihin, mean is equal to ano yung amount nito pag pinag-addition natin itong lahat. So, ibig sabihin ito ay 85. Then, itong m, para natin makuha ito, is kung gaano karami yung value. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ibig sabihin yung n ay is equivalent to 5. Okay, 85 divided 5 is equal to 17. So, ibig sabihin, ang average ng mga ages na ito ay 17. Now, let's proceed to our weighted mean. The weighted mean is the n numbers x sub 1, x sub 2, x sub 3, ellipses hanggang x sub n, with the respective assigned weights of w sub 1, w sub 2, w sub 3, hanggang w sub n. So, weighted mean have its own formula, where it stands for mean is equals to the sum of products formed by multiplying each number by its assigned weights, divided by the sum of all weights. Then now, let's proceed to our example. There are 1,000 books sold at 10 pesos each, 500 books at 20 pesos each, 500 books at 25 pesos each, and 100 books at 30 pesos each. Compute the weighted mean. So now, let's proceed to our solution. So ngayon, kukunin na natin yung weighted mean na kung saan is, ito ang example number 3. Para makuha ang weighted mean, kailangan na natin gamitin yung binigay na formula. Yan. So, sa baba din, yung sum of all weights. Pag nakuha natin yung amount na yan, ang kakalabasan ay 35,500 divided by 2,100. Then, to compute that, ang kakalabasan natin dyan ay 417.65. Okay. Ibig sabihin, ang weighted mean ng ating mga books ay 417.65. So, now, let's proceed to our second measure of central tendency, which is the median. The median is the midpoint of the data array. Before finding this value, the data must be arranged in order from less to greatest, or vice versa. The median will either be a specific value or will fall between two values. So, sa pagkuha ng median, meron tayo ditong trick na tinatawag. So, pag ang n ay pag ang bilang or yung amount ng value ay odd number, ibig sabihin, makukuha natin agad yung mean niya. Example nito ay yung x of 1 plus x of 1, x of 2, x of 3, x of 4, and x of 5. Makukuha natin agad yan dahil odd. Ibig sabihin yung mean, it is yung middle point, no? So, ibig sabihin, kung ito ay 5, ano ba yung gitna nila? Siyempre yung 3. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung mean ng given. At isa naman ay pag-even. Pag-even, medyo complicated kasi dapat i-arrange muna natin yun. So, ibig sabihin ito ay x of 1, x of 2, x of 3, at x of 4. Pag even yung kanalabasan niya, ang gagawin natin ay itong dalawang nasa gitna o yung middle point nung given ay kailangan muna natin ipag-plus para makuha yung median niya. So, sabihin parang ito ay x of 2 plus x of 3 divided by 2 to get the median. So now let's proceed to our example. There are 7 students in the classroom with ages 17, 16, 19, 21, 23, 18, and 15. So now, let's determine the median. So ngayon, dadako tayo on how we get the median. Let's proceed to our example. So una, dapat na gawin natin ay i-arrange muna natin kung paano yung data. Let's arrange it in ascending or descending order. Pagkatapos natin ma-arrange ito, dapat hanapin natin yung midpoint kasi ito yung median niya. So, ibig sabihin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, the number of value is odd number. Ibig sabihin, makikita agad natin ito. Ano ba yung kalagitnaan ng 7? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Ibig sabihin, 18 yung kalagitnaan ng data. So, ibig sabihin, ang mean ay 18. So, the median is in the fourth observation, which is 18. So another example, 6 books were randomly selected at the number of pages we're recording as follows: 38, 27, 62, 37, 21, 13. Then, we must find their median. So, let's proceed to another example. Example number 5. Una, dapat natin gawin ay lagi natin itong i-arrange, no? Pag na-arrange natin ito, bilangan natin kung ilan. Ibig sabihin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ibig sabihin, even yung number of value nito. Ibig sabihin, pag nahanap natin yung midpoint, which is itong dalawa. Kasi, yan. Kasi siya yung kalagitnaan. Ibig sabihin, para makita natin yung median is equals to 27 plus 37 divided by 2 is equals to 32. So, ibig sabihin, yung median, itong data na to ay 32. Now, let's proceed to the third measure of central tendency, which is the mode. The mode is the value of the largest frequency. It is the value that occurs most frequently in the distribution. This is used when the quickest estimate of typical performance is wanted. A distribution can be unimodal with the one mode value, bimodal with two mode values, and trimodal with three mode values. In Other words, it can have more than one mode. So, another term for mode is, it is the value that occurs most often in the data set. The number, value, observation in the data set which appears the most number of times. So, sabi dito na ang pagkuha ng mode ay madali lang natin ito makikita. Pag i-arrange natin ito, makikita natin na kung ano yung may pinakamaraming bilang. Kunwari, si 7 ay may bilang na 3 o 3 magkakapareho sila. At si 8 naman is 2 lang. Si 10 ay 1. Ang mode natin ay si 7 dahil siya ang may pinakamalaking bilang ng magkakapareho. Now, let's get to our example. Find the mode of the following discounts. 4%, 7%, 7%, 7%, 8%, 8%, 9%, 10%, 11%, 11%. So now, let's proceed to our given, the example number 6. Una is dapat i-arrange din ulit natin yung ating given or value. Madali lang mahanap ang mode because ito yung kung ano yung may pinakamaraming magkakatulad. Okay? So dito sa given natin na to, ano nga ba may pinakamaraming magkakatulad? Kundi ang number 7. Ibig sabihin, ang mode ng given na ito ay 7%. Dahil isa lang naman yung nakuha nating mode o yung pinakamadami, ibig sabihin ito ay isang uri ng unimodal. So, try this another example again. The speed of 10 stenographers in typing per minute are as follows. 107, 115, 118, 115, 112, 121, 120, 119, 110, 121. So now let's proceed to example number 7. So katulad ng dating gawin, dapat natin na i-arrange ito ayon sa mula pinakamababa hanggang pinakamataas o kaya naman pinakamataas hanggang sa pinakamababa. Then, ngayon hanapin na natin ulit kung ano yung may pinakamaraming magkakatulad. So dito sa given na to, makikita natin na ang magkatulad ay si 15, kasi may dalawa siyang 15, at saka naman si 21. 121. Ayan. So, ibig sabihin, ang mode natin ay si 1115, saka si 121. Kaya dito sa mode natin ay may dalawa. So, matatawag natin ito ang by mode. So, ganun lang kadali kung paano natin makukuha yung mean, median mode ng ungrouped data. So, now let's proceed sa grouped data. Now, let's proceed to the mean, median, and the mode of group data. Data which are arranged into frequency distribution are called group data. When the number of elements is too large, and the best to compute for the measures of central tendency and variability using the frequency distribution. So here in the group data, mean have its own formula. It is stand for the mean is equals to the sum of the product of the frequency in the class mark divided by the total frequency. So for the median, it is median is equals to the lower boundary of the median class plus the total frequencies divided by 2 minus cumulative frequency before preceding the median class divided by the frequency of median class times by the
class width. Same with the mode.
It has its own formula where mode is equals to the lower boundary of modal class plus the difference of the modal class and the class preceding it divided by the difference of the modal class and the class preceding it plus the difference of the modal class and the class succeeding it
multiplied by the class width.
So, ngayon, para mas maintindihan natin, dumako na tayo sa ating mga katanungan. Now, let's take a look to our table where we can find the mean median mode of the height of 20 students of grade 10 class.
So now let's proceed to our group data. So how to solve the mean, median, and mode. First, we have our example. Example is, find the mean, median, mode of the height of 20 students of grade 10 class. So we have the table. To get the lower boundaries, we need to, kailangan natin itong tumingin. Okay? Kailangan natin, dito lang yung papansinin natin sa ating lower limits. Yan. Ito ang lower limits na tinatawag. To get the lower boundaries, ito ay lower limits, minus 0.5 to get the lower boundaries. So, ibig sabihin, 120 minus 0.5 is equals to 119.5. Ang 125 ay magiging 124.5 and so on. So, ganyan natin kung paano mahanap ang lower boundaries. So now, let's proceed on how to get the class mark. To get the class mark, it is the lower limit plus the higher limit divided by 2. So, it is the lower limit and the higher limit. So, dapat, sabihin niyan ay kung may 120 plus 124 divided by 2 is equals to 122. So, ibig sabihin, ang class mark ng ating first ay 122. So, ganun din ang gagawin natin sa nakikita pa ng box. Okay, 127, 132, 137, 142, 147, and 152. So ngayon ay kukunin na natin yung fx. Ito ay the product of frequency and the class mark. So, 2 times 122 is equals to 244. Then, 1 times 127 is equals to 127 also. Then, 6 times 132 is equals to 792. 792. Then, 3 times 137 is equals to 411. And so on. Katulad din yung ginawa ko sa unahan, yun din gagawin nyo sa nakikita ko na. So, sabihin, 5 times 142 is equals to 710. And 2 times 147 is equals to 294. Then, 1 times 157, 52 is also 152. So ngayon, let's proceed to how to compute or to get the cumulative frequency. Una gagawin natin ay titignan muna natin kung alin yung may pinakamaliit na lower limits. So dahil dito nagsimula yung pinakamaliit na lower limits 120, ibig sabihin ng frequency, ito din ang unang mong nilalagay. 2. Gets? So ibig sabihin parang ako natin ito susunodaan, 2 plus 1 is equals to 3. Gets? Okay. 3 plus 6 is equals to 9. 9 plus 3 is equals to 12. 12 plus 5 is equals to 17. Then 17 plus 2 equals 19. And 19 plus 1 is equals to 20. 20, dahil dito 20 rin yung students. Ibig sabihin tama yung pagkakakompute natin. Okay? So dahil nga nabuo na natin yung chart natin, let's compute the total amount of frequency. the total amount of frequency is 20. So, after that, dapat kunin na rin natin yung the total amount ng product of frequency and the class mark. It is the 2000. So now let's proceed on how to get the mean. Okay? Dahil nga ito yung gagamitin nating formula, nakikita na natin doon na yung ating mga given. Ibig sabihin, mean is equals to the sum of frequency and class mark is 2,730. Then the total amount of frequency is equal to 20. Meaning that 2,730 divided by 20 is equals to 136.5 or approximately 130. So our mean is 137. So now let's proceed on how to compute the median for group data run. Okay. First of all, we need to find the median class. So paano nga ba mahanap yung median class? Ibig sabihin, ito ay the sum of frequency or the amount of frequency divided 2. The amount of frequency is 20 divided by 2. So it means that it equals to 10. So, dahil nga nakuha natin yung median class, so balik ulit tayo dito sa ating table. So, dahil nga 10, yung nakuha natin dito kanina, ibig sabihin, hahanapin natin dito kung saan nga ba papasok yung number 10. So, dahil mas si number 10 ay pasok sana siya kay number 9, pero hindi siya inabot, ibig sabihin, si number 12 na tayo. So, ibig sabihin, dito na tayo titingin. Yan. Yes, dyan lang po. Dyan lang po sa loob ng box na yun. So after natin makuha yung cumulative frequency o yung ating median class, bumalik na dito sa ating formula. So ibig sabihin, median is equals to lower boundary of median class. Ito na matatawag natin lower boundary of median class. It is the 134.5. 134.5. Dahil yun nga yung ating median class. Plus, ano yung ating yung nakalapit kanina, yung paano natin makuha yung median class. Ibig sabihin ito na yan. Sum of frequency divided by 2 is equals to 10. So, ibig sabihin natin, lalagyan na natin dito. Then minus cumulative frequency. Para makuha natin cumulative frequency, ito ay yung before the amount ng ating median class. Ano nga ba yung amount before of this median class? It is number 9. So, ibig sabihin, lalagyan na natin yung 9. Then, the frequency of median class. The frequency of median class is number 3. So, it is called the class size or width. Para makuha yun, ibig sabihin, gagawin lang natin kung gaano karami yung size or width ng ating class limits. Sabihin, bilangin lang natin yan. 150, 151, 152, 153, 154. Ibig sabihin ng ating class width is 5 because it contains 5 counts. Then, now let's compute it. Mean is equals to 134.5. Unahin natin yung nasa loob ng parenthesis. So, 10 minus 1 is equals to 1. Then, copy 3 and copy 5. 1.67. So bring down 134.5. 134.5 plus 137 is equals to 136.17. 136.17. So meaning the median of this class is 136.17. So ngayon dadako naman tayo sa paghanap ng mode. No? Unang natin gagawin is, hanapin muna natin yung modal class. Para mahanap natin yung modal class is, titingin tayo dito sa frequency. Kung ano yung may pinakamataas na amount, which is the 6. Okay. So buong area na ito ang ating modal class. Gets? Okay. So ibig sabihin, the lower boundary of modal class is 129.5 plus yan. So, paano nga ba natin kukunin si D sub 1? D sub 1 is equal sa ating modal class, which is the 6. Then, himamayos mo siya kung saan yung nagsimula yung unang bilang. Sabihin, 6 is minus 1. Okay. 6 minus 1 is equals to 5. Then, para naman nakuha natin si D sub 2 is equals to, patunod pa rin dati, 6, pero ito naman himaminus mo naman siya sa mas mataas na bilang doon sa ating modal class o sa kasunuran na bilang. Minus 3 equals to 3. So, ganun na. I-ano na natin. Lagyan na lang natin sa box. Or i-substitute na lang. Tama, i-substitute na lang natin. So, in D sub 1 is equals to 5. Then, plus 3. Then, the interval itself is at least 5 also because yun din yung interval na ginamit natin kanina sa region. So, now let's proceed. Mode is equals to lower boundary. Sabihin, bring down muna natin ito, 129.5 plus. Kasi unahin muna natin nasa loob na ating parenthesis. 5 is equals to 5 plus 3 is equals to 8. And then copy the class P. Then 5 divided by 8 times 5 is equals to 3.13. 3.13. Then bring down 129.5. Then add. The result is 134. I mean 32.63. So meaning the mode of this group data is 132.63. So I hope na may natutunan kayo kung paano natin kuhain yung group data at group data ng mean, median, and mode. Maraming salamat!
The third topic involved in data management is the measures of relative position. It is presented by Justin Maqueda and yours truly, Mary Claire Monterde. Measures of relative position. As median divides the set of scores into two equal parts, there are other measures that divide the distribution into 100, 4, or 10 equal parts. These are the other measures of position: the percentiles, the quartiles, and the deciles. Let us start with percentiles. The percentiles are the score points that divide a distribution into 100 equal parts. One way of assessing performance is by the use of percent. Like this. The 10th percentile separates the lowest 10% from the other 90%. The 25th percentile separates the lowest 25% from the other 75%, while the 80th percentile separates the lowest 80% from the other 20%. Let us consider this situation. If Rose gets a score of 80 and rank 7th in a class of 150 students, it means that 150 minus 7 equals 143. So 143 students below her rank. If we get the percentage, 143 divided 150 equals to 0.95, which is converted to percentage. The percentage is 95%. This means that 95% out of the class ranked below or got scores below than Rose. Then we can say that the percentage rank of Rose is 95, which also implies that 95 out of 100 students got scores below her score, and the remaining 5% of the class obtained higher than Rose. The percentage rank tells how many percent of the cases got below the rank or position, and the percentile point is the score or value that corresponds to the given percentile rank. Let's have this example, the percentile for ungroup data. Mr. Flores conducted a quiz to 10 students. The scores obtained are as follows: 5, 8, 7, 10, 5, 6, 4, 6, 3, 6. And we are going to determine the A, what score corresponds to the 100th percentile, and B, what is the 50th percentile point. This will be our solution. For letter A, what score corresponds to the 100th percentiles? The first thing we need to do is to arrange the scores in descending order. The scores are 5, 8, 7, 10, 5, 6, 4, 6, 3, 6. So it will be ordered like this. The highest is 10, the middle is 6, and the lowest is 3. The scored 100 surpassed all the others, but the class intervals will always have the upper boundary. So the 100 percentile point is the upper boundary of the highest score. Percentile 100 equals to 10.5. Letter B, what is the 50th percentile point? Since the middle score is 6, it surpasses half or 50% of the students. Therefore, percentile 50 equals to 6. Let's have this another example. Mrs. Lotorenia conducted a remedial quiz to 5 students. The scores obtained are as follows: 15, 25, 33, 34, and 43. Find the 67th percentile. This will be our solution. To get the percentile, we must know its formula. PK equals K divide 100 times N plus 1. Our K is 67 and N is 5. So 67 divide 100 times 5 plus 1. Next is 67 divide 100 equals to 201. 5 plus 1 equals 6. So 201 divide 50 will be 4.02 term. The 67th percentile equal to 4.02 terms. So first term, second term, third term, fourth term. 4.02 has no exact scores. So we are going to subtract the two score that lied on the scope of 4.022. So it is 43 and 34. So 43 minus 34 equals 9. And 9 times 0.2, which is the decimal point for 4.02, will be 0.18. So 34 plus 0.18 equals to 34.18. So our P67 equals to 34.18. Let's proceed to the percentile of group data. The formula for getting the percentile of group data is this, where Pn is the score corresponding to the ith percentile rank, XLB is the lower limit of the percentile class interval, small letter f is the frequency of the percentile interval, and the capital letter F is the cumulative frequency of the interval before the percentile interval, I is the class size, the small letter n is the rank in decimal, and the capital letter N is the total frequency. So here, we are going to find the percentile of 72 using this formula. With the help of this table, we are able to determine these variables.
To get the XLB, we have to find the PK class. So PK class equals Kn over 100. K equals to 72, N equals to 60. So 72 times 60 divide 100 equals 43.2. It is our P72 class, and our solution will be relied on it.
So our PN is P72, XLV equals 17.5, N equals 72% converted to decimal point, which is 0.72, F equals 6, capital letter F will be 38, I equals 2, and N equals 60. Let us substitute this given data into the formula. So this is our formula. Our PN is P72. So P72 equals 17.5 added by 2 multiplied by 0.72 multiplied by 60 subtracted by 38 divided by 6. So the result of this data is 14.3. So 17.5 plus 14.3 equals 31.83. So our percentile of 72 will be 31.83.
So hi, it's me again, Justin Makeda. And now we're tackling about the quartiles and deciles of measure of relative positions. Now, let's start. So now we're discussing about the quartiles of ungrouped data. The quartiles are the score points which divide a distribution into 4 equal parts. The 25% of the data fall between the first quartile. The second is the 50%, which are below the second quartile. It is also called the median. The median is equals to second quartile. The last is 75%, which are less than the third quartile. Remember that the lower quartile is the quartile 1 and the upper quartile is the quartile 3. And another is there is the interquartile range, which is the difference between quartile 3 and quartile 1. So now let's proceed to our example number 1. The owner of a laundry shop recorded the number of customers who came into his shop each day. The results were 13, 11, 10, 12, 16, 7, 9, 12, 13, and 8. Find the lower quartile and the upper quartile of the data.
So okay, let's proceed to our first example, which is the how to get the quartile. First of all, we need to arrange the data by ascending or descending order. Ang gagawin muna natin is para lang tayo kumukuha ng ating median. Hanapin natin ang ating, kung sa median, hanapin natin ang ating middle class. Dito naman sa quartile, hanapin natin ang ating middle value. So, paano nga ba makuha yun? Same as median. Bibilangin natin kung ilan ang ating total amount of individuals, which is number 11. Okay? Ano nga ba yung center or middle point ng ating data? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ibig sabihin, ang ating middle value ay 11. Then, paano naman natin kukunin ang ating upper quartile and lower quartile? So, titingnan natin dito kung alin nga ba yung may amount ng number na may pinakamababa. So, dahil itong number na ito ang may pababa at ang number na may pababa, dito natin malalaman or mahanap ang ating lower quartile. Same thing din sa paghanap ng middle value. Yung ating middle point ng ating given data. Ibig sabihin, 5 na lang sila. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ano nga ba yung middle point ng 5? Ibig sabihin, ito ay 9, which is 9. Then, it represents na lower quartile. Same as here. Paghahanap ng ating upper data ay upper quartile rather. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sabihin 5 din. Para mahanap natin ito, same thing din ang paghahanap natin ng lower quartile, which is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Sabihin ang ating upper quartile ay 13. So, ang hanapin natin dito ay ang ating interquartile range. Paano nga ba hanapin to? Meron tayong formula na dapat gamitin, which is the interquartile range is equal to quartile 1 minus, quartile 3 minus quartile 1. Okay. Paano ka makahanap ito? Quartile 3 and quartile 1. Quartile 1 stands for lower quartile, which is 9. Middle volume is stands for quartile 2. And upper quartile stands for quartile 3. So, let's substitute it. Quartile 3 is equivalent to 13. And the value of quartile 1 is 9. So, therefore, the interquartile range is 4. And that's how you get the interquartile range.
Decile of ungroup data. The deciles are the score points which divide a distribution into 10 equal parts. Okay? The decile 1 is equivalent to 10%. The decile 2 is equivalent to 20%. The decile 3 is equivalent to 30%. The decile 4 is equivalent to 40%. The decile 5 is 50%, which is equivalent to median 2. And the rest, the decile 6, 7, 8, 9 is the 60%, 70%, 80% of the decile. Okay? If the quotient obtained is not the whole number, round to the next larger whole number. If the quotient is the value number, use the value halfway between the given formula. Now let's proceed to our examples. Find the 4th decile and the 9th decile of the following quiz scores of the random samples of 10 students. 35, 42, 40, 28, 15, 23, 33, 20, 18, and 28.
So now we're proceeding for example number 1 para sa decile. So, paano ba natin nakukuha yung decile? Una gagawin natin is hanapin muna natin kung ano ang location na hinihiling given. So, ang hinihiling dito ay ang 4th decile. Yan. Para mahanap natin yung 4th decile, ay kailangan natin gamitan ito ng formula. So, let's substitute. D 4. So, bakit naging 4? Paano naging 4 yung A? Because natin dito, hinahanap natin yung 4 decile. So, yung N, akala natin, kung ilan ba yung total number of individuals. So, nakita natin din natin siya. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sabihin natin 10. So, sabi natin 10 divided by 10. So, magiging sagot ay 40 divided by 10 equals 4. So, according doon sa nabasa natin kanina na rules, na pag full number ang lumabas na ating location sa decile, kailangan natin itong gamitan pa ng isang formula para mahanap kung saan talaga nakalocate ang decile. Kung saan dito sa ating given, nakikita ang decile. So, tuloy lang natin. So, tuloy lang natin. Substitute lang natin. So, Kn, dahil na ito yung Kn kanina, ito rin yun. Lagyan lang natin. Plus, yung Kn plus 1 was 4 plus 1, 5. So, sabihin ito yung then, divided by 2. So, magiging kasagutan dito ay 51 divided by 2. So, ibig sabihin, ang decile number 4 ay nakalocate. Ang decile number 4 ay 25.5. So, the 4th decile is makikita natin kapag sa 25.5.
Okay, now, let's find the solution for example number 4. Mr. Flores gives a 50 items test for remedial class. The scores of 15 students are 17, 52, 47, 60, 57, 28, 55, 56, 25, 32, 46, 28, 55, 35, and 20. Now, find the value of second decile and the seventh decile.
So now let's proceed to our example number 2. Tulad pa rin ng kanina, kailangan muna natin i-arrange yung data na ibinigay sa atin. So, dahil na-arrange natin ito, kukunin na natin kung ano yung hinihingi sa atin. Ibig sabihin, ang hinihingi natin kanina ay decile, second decile at saka ang seventh decile. So, dating gawin, kailangan pa rin natin gamitin ang ating formula. Divide 10. So, let's substitute. D2, 2, then. So, paano natin makuha ulit yung n? The total number of given individuals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So, meaning, the total amount is, total number rather is 15. Then, let's proceed. 30 divide 10 is equals to 3. Ibig sabihin, so dahil nga lumabas na naman ang whole number, kailangan naman natin itong gamitan ng isa pang formula para mahanap natin kung saan ba talaga or kung ano yung decimal na hinahanap natin. So, bali, kn over 10 plus kn over 10 plus then substitute. So dahil 3 ang lumabas nito, kn is equals to 3 plus 3 plus 1 is equals to 4 divide 2. Divided by 2. So, ibig sabihin, may kasagutan dito ay 25 plus 28 divided by 2 is 26.8. Ibig sabihin, ang ating second decile ay 26.8. So now, let's proceed sa ating pangalawang katanungan. 7 decile. 11 decile is equal to same formula. 7, then n is 15 over 10. So, ayan. Then, let's continue sa pag-solve. 7 times 15 is equals to 105 over 10. Ayan. Then, is equals to 10.5. So, dahil nga, ang nakuha natin ay may decimal point, ang gagawin na natin is itutuloy na natin siya bilang 11 para malaman natin dahil yun yung nakalagay na rules sa ating decile. So, may meaning nito ay 11. Ibig sabihin yung pang 11 sa given, yun yung decile number 7. Ibig sabihin, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Meaning na ang decile, ang 7 decile ay 52. So, sana naunawain niyo yung pagkuha natin ng decile o pang-group data. Then now, let's proceed sa ating group data.
Now we're going to discuss is about the group data of quartile and decile. But before that, may I introduce to you our formula. So, our formula contains where L is equals to lower boundary, N is equals to total number of observations, CW is equals to class width, CF is equals to cumulative frequency of the preceding class,
F is the frequency of the class. I is equals to 4 for quartile. And I is equals to 10 for decile. So, let's go. So now here's the score of 20 students in a 60-point quiz. So hi again. Now we are discussing about the group data of quartile and decile. So before that, ay gusto ko lang na ipaliwanag sa inyo kung ano nga ba yung mga given or yung mga symbols na kailangan natin alamin. So now let's proceed to our table. So ngayon ang una natin gagawin is hanapin muna kung anong total frequency ng ating table. So, is the total frequency is equal to 40. So dahil pag pinag-add natin yung lahat, ang may sagot ay 40. Ayan. So itong total frequency ay pwede na rin natin gawin. Ayan. So now let's proceed kung paano kunin ang lower boundaries. Tulad din ng unang nating table doon sa unang topics na kung saan is group data din ang union mode, kailangan din natin hanapin ang lower boundaries ito. So paano nga ulit itong kunin? Lower limit minus 0.5. Okay? Now let's proceed. 53 minus 0.5 is equals to 52.5. Then, sunod-sunod yan, katulad din nung nauna, gagawin din natin yan hanggang sa baba. Okay, 47 minus 0.5 is equals to 46.5. 41 minus 0.5 is equals to 40.5. Then, 35 minus 0.5 is equals to 34.5. 29 minus 0.5 is equals to 28.5. Tulad na yung mga ganun gagawin sa akin. Okay? 22.5. 17 minus 0.5 is equals to 16.5. 10.5. Then, the last is 4.5. After natin makuha yung ating lower boundaries, now we can proceed para naman natin yung ating cumulative frequency. So, paano nga ba ito makuha? Siyempre, sisimulan natin sa pinakamababang parte ng ating lower limits, ay ng ating mga limits or score limits. So, saan siya nagsimula? So, dito rin tayo nagsimula. Dahil kuha natin sa ating frequency, so rin ang nilalagay natin sa kaunahan. Okay? 2 plus 3 is equals to 5. 5 plus 4 is equals to 9. 9 plus 11 is equals to 20. 20 plus 10 is equals to 30. 30 plus 2 is equals to 32. 32 plus 1, 33. 33 plus 4 equals 37. Then 37 plus 3 is equals to 40. Ibig sabihin lamang ito, dahil magkatulad ang ating pinakadulo at si 10, ibig sabihin naman ito, tama yung ating computation. So now we can proceed kung paano natin makukuha ang ating quartile sa group data. So quartile. Ayan. So according dito sa aking question, ay ang hanapin natin ay ang quartile number 1 or quartile 1. Dito sa ating data, may binigay rin, o gagamitin natin formula is quartile 1 is equals to lower boundary then Kn, the class width, this is frequency, CW stands for class width. Okay? Then, first of all, paano natin malalaman is, hanapin muna natin ito, Kn over class width. Sabihin, Kn over class width is equal to K, ibig sabihin kung ano yung hinahanap. 1. N is kung ilan lahat. 40. Over I I is equals to 4 dahil nahabol na quartile. Quartile means 4. Okay? Then let's proceed again. 40 divided 4 equals to 10. Then, ang ganit na yan, dito na natin. Ayan. Next is, dahil 10 na to, mahanapin natin dito kung saan ba yung katulad nung kanina. Pag naghahanap tayo ng yung median class, dapat makikita din natin dito. So, paano natin nakikita? Dito tayo titingin sa ating cumulative frequency. Kung saan ito papasok. So, ibig sabihin, dito sa 9, pasok ba si 10? Di ba hindi? So, ibig sabihin, dito sa kasunod, sa 20, pasok siya. So, dito tayo magsisimula. Dito tayo mag-focus. Focus na tayo sa loob ng box. So, ibig sabihin, ang ating lower boundary, is 22.5. Ang ating ang ating frequency is 11. So, ating less than cumulative frequency ay makikita natin sa ibabang bahagi o yung before ng ating cumulative frequency. Ibig sabihin ang ating cumulative frequency na upunin ay 9. Kasi less than cumulative frequency ang nakalagay. So, let's proceed ulit tayo sa ating formula. Q1 is equals to 22.5 plus, so ang ating Kn divided by I is 10 minus cumulative frequency 9, then ang ating frequency is 11. So, paano nga ba hanapin yung class? So, dito lang siya. Bilangin lang ulit natin. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 6. May mas madali din paraan, no? Para mahanap natin yung class width. Ibig sabihin ito ay 11 minus 5. Ito siya. Para hindi siya mahanap. 11 minus 5 is equals to 6. So, mas madali natin nakikita ang ating class width. Kung ayaw natin magbilang. So, ibig sabihin ito ay 6. Yeah. Now, let's proceed sa ating computation. Bring down 22.5 plus, unahin natin yung nasa loob ng parenthesis. 1 is equals to 11. Then, divided by 6. Then, if i-compute natin ang 1 over 11 times 1 divided by 11 times 6, ang kalalabasan ay 0.54. Bring down 22.5 equals 23.05. Approximately, our quartile one is approximately 23.05. So now let's proceed to our decile. So, according din sa ating decile is dapat hahanapin din natin katulad din ng paghahanap natin ng quartile. No? Makikita natin dito kung ano yung pagkakaiba ba nito. Go. So, sabi dito, we need to find the 9th decile. Okay. Katulad din yung kanina, yung formula. Decile 9 equals to L or lower boundary plus Kn minus cumulative frequency divided by the frequency and plus width. So, ano muna natin dapat gawin? Hanapin muna natin yung location ng ating Kn over 9. Para malaman natin kung nasa dito talaga yung para sa middle class or lower class. Diba? So, Kn divide I or class B, I know, basta I K is equal to B9. K is equal to 9. So F equals to 40 again. Dahil yun yung frequency, yung total frequency natin. And I is equals to 10. So bakit F? Kasi decile siya. Kung kanina quartile, kasi 4 na yung 10 decile. So pag sinabi natin yung percentile, sige ito na rin, ibig sabihin nun is 100. Okay? So let's proceed again. 9 times 40 is equals to 360 divided 10 equal to 36. So, nakita natin dito na nasa 36 yung mahanap natin location. So, magpala ito dito. 36. Yan. Then, burahin muna natin dito. Ayan. Dahil nakita na natin yung ating 36, hahanapin natin kung saan ba ito kabilang. Okay? Now, kita natin dito na mas pasok si 37 sa 36 dahil hindi inabot ni 33 yung amount na hinihingi. Ibig sabihin, hindi tayo focus naman sa loob ng box. Guess nyo ba? Yan. Okay. Now, let's find the commuted frequency. I know, the lower boundary. So the lower boundary is 46.5. The frequency is 4. The commuted frequency is kung ano ulit yung commuted frequency natin, kung ano ulit yung mas mababa doon o yung kasunod doon bago yung ating nakuha frequency. Ibig sabihin ito ay 33. Okay? 33. So, ayan. Now, let's proceed. I-substitute na natin ulit ito dito. B9 is equals to 46.5 plus, so, anong kanina? 36 plus, ay minus 33 dahil din yung ating commuted frequency. Then, the frequency is 4. Then, ano ulit yung ating class width? Yun ay yung pinag-minus yung dalawang magkasunuran. O magkatabi na lower units. Yun ay 6. Okay. Then, let's solve it or compute. May ng 46.5. Dahil unahin muna natin nasa loob ng ating parenthesis. 36 minus 33 is equals to 3 over 4. 6. Then, kung ating ano to, 3 divided by 3 times 6 is equals to 4.5. Then, bring down 46.5. It is equals to 51. So, ibig sabihin, the ninth decile is 51. So, I hope that you learned something from me, and thank you for listening.
So, good day everyone, I'm Sammy Suarez, and in this video, I'm going to discuss the measure of variation of group data. So, ituturo ko sa inyo kung paano ba hanapin ang value ng range, variation, at standard deviation. So, bago yun, alamin muna natin kung ano ba yung given. Ang given is scores of 25 students in 40 points. Ang una natin gagawin, hanapin natin kung ano ba yung class boundaries. So, paano natin siya makakuha? dito tayo titingin sa score limits. The low limit and high limit, sila lang yung titignan natin. Yung 35, mamainasan natin siya ng 0.5 at yung 40 naman, aada natin siya ng 0.5. So, 35 minus 0.5 is equals to 34.5. And 40 add by 0.5 is 40.5. So, ganun din sa mga susunod. 29 minus 0.5, 28.5. And 34 plus 0.5 is 34.5. So, ganun din ang gagawin natin sa mga susunod. So, ayan. Nakuha na natin ang ating class boundaries. So, bakit nga ba natin kailangan alamin kung ano yung class boundaries? Kailangan natin to para malaman natin kung ano ba ang value ng range. At para malaman natin kung ano ang value ng range, we need to subtract the higher boundaries and lower boundaries. So, So 34.5 minus 4.5. And the answer is 30. So ang range natin is 30. So next naman natin hahanapin is class mark. So paano ba natin makakuha yung class mark? Next natin is class mark. So paano ba natin kukunin ang class mark? The lower limit and the higher limit, ipapag-plus natin sila. Ipapag-add natin sila and then divide by 2. So 35 plus 40 equals 75. Then divide by 2 is 37.5. And ganun din yung gagawin natin sa mga susunod. 29 plus 34 then divide by 2 is equals to 31.5. And 23 plus 28 divide 2 is equals to 25.5. So, ayan, nakuha na natin ang ating class mark. And then, ang susunod naman natin is the product of frequency and the class mark. So, paano ba siya i-solve? I-multiply mo lang yung frequency and then yung class mark. So, 3 times 37.5 is equals to 112.5. And then, 4 times 31.5 is equals to 126. 7 times 25 is equals to 178. So, ganun lang gagawin natin. So, ayan. Bakit ba natin kailangan kunin yung product ng frequency at ng class mark? Para makuha natin kung ano ba yung mean. Ang gagawin natin, yung product ng frequency at class mark is papagadin lang natin silang lahat. So, 112.5 plus 126 plus 178.5 plus 95.5 and 52 plus 15 is equals to 579.5. So, ayan. Ang gagawin naman natin para makuha natin yung mean is so the submission of product of frequency and class mark, ilalagay lang natin dito. So, nakalimutan ko sabihin, ano ang total number of frequency? Ang total number is ito. Papag-add lang natin silang lahat at yun na yung magiging total of number of frequency natin. So, 3 plus 4 plus 7 plus 5 plus 4 plus 2 is equals to 25. So, ang magiging submission ng n is 25. 579.5 divide 25 is equals to 23.18. So, ito ang mean natin. So, yun na nga. Nakuha na natin ang value ng mean at 23.18. So, ang next naman natin hahanapin is the second column. The class mark minus mean then squared. So, class mark 37.5 minus 23.18 is equals to 200 and then square root then equals to 206.6. Next is 31.5 minus 23.18 is equals to 69.22. And 25.5 minus 23.18 is equals to 5.38. Then, ganun lang din yung gagawin natin sa mga susunod. So yun, nakuha na natin yung ika-6 na column. Next naman is yung ika-7 column. So paano ba natin siya makukuha? The frequency is, i-multiply mo lang siya dito sa ika-6 na column. So 3 times 206.6 is equals to 615.18. And 4 times 69.22 is equals to 276.88. Then 7 times 5.38 is equals to 37.66. And ganun lang din yung gagawin natin sa mga susunod. So yan. Nakuha na natin yung total ng lahat ng last na column. Ang gagawin naman natin is papag-addin natin silang lahat. So, 615.18 plus 276.88 plus 37.66 and plus 414.52 plus 491.72 is equals to 642. Yan. So, bakit nga ba natin pinag-plus yung total ng last column? Para makuha natin kung ano ba yung value ng variance at ng standard deviation. So, para makuha natin siya is, ang gagamitin natin formula ay ito. So, yan. Then, so alam na natin kung ano yung formula and isasubmission naman natin para ma-complete na natin. So, and yung N is yung total of frequency natin is 25 minus 1. So dahil nakuha na natin kung ano yung total ng last column, ang gagawin naman natin, hanapin na natin yung total ng variance. And ang gagamitin natin na formula is ito. Then substitute. So, unahin natin is, copy muna yung nasa taas, 642.69, then 23.18 minus 1 is 22.18. Then, 642.69 divide 22.18 is 28.98. So, ito na yung value ng variance natin, 28.98. Then next naman, ang hanapin naman natin value ay ang standard deviation. Ang gagawin lang natin is, yung total ng variance na 28.98 ay square root lang natin. So, the square root of 28.98 is 5.39. So, yun. Ganun lang pagkuha ng range, variance, and standard deviation. So, sana may natutunan kayo sa video na to. And yun lang.
So hi everyone, my name is Maribel P. Patasa, BSA Term 1. Z-score is the topic that was given to me. Z-score is also called a standard score. It measures how many standard deviation an observation is above or below the mean. Furthermore, it specifies precise location of an x value within a distribution. If the z-score is positive, the score is above the mean. If the z-score is 0, the score is the same as the mean. And if the z-score is negative, the score is below the mean. So before learning the formula of z-score, let us first know why do we use z-score? Why do we need to use z-score? So first, we use z-score to determine where one score is located in a distribution with all respect to other scores. So now let's move on and learn the formula of z-score. Makikita niyo din sa screen yung formula ng z-score. Z is equals to the raw score minus mean over standard deviation. And makikita niyo din sa screen yung symbol ng raw score, mean, at standard deviation. So now let's have an example of z-score. Example problem. Let's say you have a test score of 180. The test has a mean of 130 and the standard deviation of 20. Assuming a normal distribution, your z-score would be. So based dun sa first example problem natin, meron tayong score na 180, mean na 130, and standard deviation na 20. Ngayon, magsa-substitute na tayo. So, C equals sa score na 180 minus sa mean na 130 over standard deviation na 20. So, 180 minus 130 is 50 over 20. And And ang sagot dyan is 50 divided by 20 is 2.5. So, ito na yung ating first z-score. So, ulitin natin. Z, substitute yung score dito, mean dito, and yung standard deviation sa baba. So, 180 minus 130 is 50. Bring down natin yung 20. Then, 50 divided by 20 is 2.5. So, ito na yung ating z-score. Z-score formula as standard error of the mean. So, it happens when we have multiple samples and want to describe the standard deviation of those sample. So, sa ganitong situation, meron tayong ibang formula. So, nandiyan naka-flash sa screen yung formula. Z-score is equals to score minus mean over standard deviation divided by square root of n. Now, let's have an example problem of standard error of the mean. Example problem. In general, the mean height of women is 70 inch with a standard deviation of 4.5. What is the probability of finding a random sample of women with a mean height of 75 inch, assuming the height are normally distributed? So this given came from the example problem that we had. So let's now substitute. C equals to 75 minus the mean 70 over standard deviation 4.5 divided by the square root of 50. So equal 75 minus 70 is 5 over 4.5 divided by the square root of 50 is 0.636. So 5 divided by 0.636 is equals to 7.86. So this is the standard error of the mean in z-score. The z-score and the standard error of the mean.
Z-score and standard deviation. Technically, a z-score is the number of standard deviations from the mean value of the reference population, a population whose known values have been recorded. For example, a z-score of 1:1 standard deviation above the mean, a score of 2:2 standard deviation above the mean, and the score of -1.8 is to -1.8 standard deviations below the mean. Properties of standardized distribution. Shape remains the same as the distribution with the original scores, does not move scores, just relabels them. Mean will always have a mean of 0. Standard deviations will always have a standard deviation of 1. Other standardized distributions. Some people find z-scores bothersome because they consist of many decimal values and negative numbers. Therefore, it is often more convenient to standardize a distribution into numerical values that are simpler than z-scores. To create a simpler standardized distribution, you first select the mean and the standard deviation that you would like for the new. To create a simpler standardized distribution, you first select the mean and the standard deviation that you would like for the new distribution. Then z-scores are used to identify each individual's position in the original distribution and to compute the individual's position in the new distribution. And lastly, z-scores can also be used for samples. The definition of z-score is the same for either a sample or a population. The formulas are also the same, except their symbol. The sample mean and the standard deviation are used in the place of population mean and a population standard deviation. As what you can see in the screen, they just change the symbol. So, z is equals to x minus m over s. Using z-score to standardize a sample has the same effect as standardizing a population. The mean will be 0 and the standard deviation will be 1. That's all. Thank you.
Good day everyone, my name is Margaret Magtibay and I present the probability and normal distribution. This is a distribution of a normal random variable with mean 0 and standard equal to 1. For distribution, sometimes collectible chord is a distribution that occurs naturally in the situation. Gaussian distribution is another name for a normal distribution. And the second topic is discrete probability function. The probability function are also known as junction and can a discrete number of values. For example, coin toss and counts of event are discrete functions. There are discrete distribution because there are number in between values. For example, you can have only head or tail in a coin toss. Similarly, if you are counting number of books that a library checks per hour, you can count 21 or 22 books, nothing in between. Example of discrete probability function. What is discrete probability function? A discrete distribution describes the probability of occurrence of each value of a discrete random variable. The number of spoiled apple out of 6 in your refrigerator can be an example of discrete. Probability distribution, discrete events are those with a finite number of outcome choosing dice or coins. For example, when we flip a coin, there are only 2 possible outcomes, head or tail. We will roll a 6-sided die. We can only obtain one of 6 possible outcomes: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Kung isang tao ay bibigyan ng isang set ng data na binubuo lamang ng mga buong numero at hinihiling na hanapin ang posibilidad ng isang bagay, ito ay nagiging isang discrete probability. Halimbawa, kapag nahagis ang dice ng isang tao, maaari itong magpakita ng anumang halaga mula 1 hanggang 6. Ang mga numerong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 ay mga discrete whole number. And the third topic is continuous probability distribution. A probability distribution in which a random variable x can take any value because there are infinite values that x could assume that the probability of x taking on any one specific value is 0. Therefore, we often speak in range of value. In general quantities such as a pressure, height, mass, weight, density, volume, temperature, and distance are examples of continuous random variable. Sa probability theory daw ay ang probability density function ay isang function na ang halaga sa alinmang sample space ay maaaring bigyan kahulugan bilang pagbibigay ng kamag-anak na posibilidad na ang halaga ay random variable ay magiging katumbas ng iyong sample. Ang patuloy na pagmamahagi ng probability ay isang uri ng pagmamahagi na tumatalakay sa tuloy-tuloy na mga uri ng data o random variable. Continuously probability function are also known as probability density function. You know that you have a continuous distribution if your variable can assurance an infinite number of values between any 2 values. Continuous variables are often measurements on a scale such height, weight, and temperature. And the last one, this part is probability and the normal curve. The probability that x is greater than a equals the under the normal curve bounded by a and plus infinity as indicated by the non-shaped area the figure below. The probability that x is less than a equals the under the normal curve bounded by minus infinity as indicated by the shaded are in the figure below are the probability that the normal random variable x equal any particular value is 0. According to Harvey Berman, the normal distribution is a continuous probability distribution.
My name is Arvin Rabi Bilyate, first year from BSHM, which is the last presenter.
So, have a great day, sir. Now, let's proceed to the last part of the data management, which is the linear regression and correlation. The first one is correlation. So, what is correlation? Correlation is the statistical association between two variables. Pero bago natin i-discuss si correlation, is kailangan muna natin si scatter plot. Scatter plot. So, ano nga ba si scatter plot? Si scatter plot is the best place to start a scatter plot or scatter diagram. Is a graph of paired x and y. Sample data with a horizontal x-axis and a vertical y-axis. Each individual x and y pair is plotted as a single point. So, ang itsura po ni scatter plot na ito, ang nakalagay is horizontal x-axis and vertical y-axis. So, ganito po ang itsura ni scatter plot. So, bakit kailangan nyo natin sa scatter plot bago ipaliwanag si correlation? Kasi, si scatter plot po, yung nagpa-find or nagdi-define kung ano yung relation kay correlation. So, now, una po is the no correlation. The no correlation is when the points on a scattered plot do not show any direction or pattern. So, ibig sabihin po, hindi daw po do not show, hindi magpapakita or hindi dadaan. So, halimbawa ito po yung pattern. Ito yung pattern. Pero yung points niya, hindi siya dadaan sa ating pattern or sa direction. So, ibig sabihin, walang point sa ating direction. Siya si no correlation. Yan. So, the second one is non-linear. When the points on the scatter plot follow a pattern but not a straight line. So, follow the pattern but not a straight line. So, gawa ulit tayo ng scatter plot. So, itong scatter plot na ito, upang ma-define natin kung ano nga ba si non-linear. So, non-linear. Ito yung ating direction or yung ating pattern. Pero, yung kanyang points is nandito. Follow the point pero hindi sumusunod yung point pero hindi pumapatak or pumapasok dito sa ating direction or ating pattern. So, the last is linear. Linear when the points on the scatter plot follow a somewhat straight line pattern. Follow straight line pattern. So, ibig sabihin, susundan na lang si pattern. So, ito, halimbawa. Ito si linear. Ito yung pattern natin. So, ipapalo lang ng point yung pattern. So, ibig sabihin, yung pattern, may point lang. Ganun lang siya kasimple. Pero, linear, either positive or negative. So, linear, either positive or negative. Bakit? Positive relationship have points that incline upward to the right. So, ito na yung linear na positive. Kasi, ang nakalagay, upward to the right. Right. Upward to the right. Then, the last is yung negative. Dito na natin sa baba siya ilagay kasi linear din naman siya. So, kung ito yung direction, kung ito yung direction, mali. So, di ba, scatter plot, ito yung kanya direction naman. Kung sa positive is upward to the right, si negative naman is upward to the left. Pero yung kanyang point ay nakapattern pa din. Now, para mas malinaw yung kanina na discuss natin about yung relationship niya, magbibigay ako ng example or scenario. So, yung scenario is the study was conducted to investigate the relationship existing between the grades in statistics and grades in computer subject. A random sample of 10 computer students in a certain college were taken and the data are as follows. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung student na 10. So, ito na rin yung given or yung data na ginamit na statistics and computer. So, now, para mas malinaw sa atin yung ito, mas malinaw is pakita muna natin si graph ng ating data or ng ating given. So, ito yung kanyang graph. So, dito sa graph, lapit muna natin dito yung camera. So, ayun, maayos na yung camera natin. Kita na yung kanyang graph. So, itong graph na to yung tinatawag na scatter plot. Ngayon, nilagay natin sa scatter plot ang ating data or ang ating given. So, yung una is 80 yung x. 80 yung x, 83 yung kanyang y. So, gano'n lang siya. So, ito yung x, ito yung y. So, ibig sabihin, kung yung 88 na ito, 88 na dito yung 92, kung alin yung dot niya, yun yun. So, ngayon, ano ba sa kanyang correlation? Kita naman natin na meron siyang gano'n. Ibig sabihin, yung ating pattern or ating direction is sinundan lang ng ating point. Hindi siya pumatong sa ating pattern o hindi siya nagkalog-kalan. Ibig sabihin, yung ating correlation is non-linear, which is yun nga yung sinundan na lang yung point. Now, bumalik naman tayo dun sa ating table na kung saan isusolusyon naman natin ang ating data. Yung solution ng ating data sa ating. So now, balik tayo dito sa ating table na kung saan isusolusyon na natin yung ating data or yung ating given. So, pahingin na muna natin ito para magkasya tayo sa ating gagawin solution. Now, ang ating student ay ito. Ilan nga ba yung student natin? 10. So, lagay natin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So, si ating statistical ang ating magiging X. At ang computer naman ang ating magiging Y. Ilalagay lang natin dito si X and dito si y. So now, let's continue. So ayun, na-copy-paste ko na yung x and y natin sa data kanina dito sa ating mas malaking data. Kasi ito yung solution ng data natin pinahi dito kanina. So, bakit nga ba kailangan ng ganyan? Bakit ba kailangan lakihan or mas palawakin? Kasi nga, solution. Bakit solution ganyan? So, kailangan po natin yan upang yung data is mas mapalawak at ating makuha yung range and degree. Nakuha na natin yung correlation niya kasi nag-graph na nga po tayo sa kabilang blackboard. Ang kanyang correlation is non-linear. So, non-linear po yun. Kailangan pa rin natin kuha yung degree and range. So, mamaya na po natin makuha kasi meron po siyang kanya-kanyang formula. So, ngayon, mag-focus muna tayo sa ating table na ginawa. Table na data na ating ginawa. So, may kulang na dalawa. 86 and 94. So, now, student, statistic, naging x, tapos ang ating computer is y. So, lagay lang natin dito is x and y, x and squared, and y is squared. So, paano natin isosolve si x and y? Anong ilalagay dito? So, x, y, so it's mean x times y. So, ibig sabihin, x times y, 80 times 83 is equals to 6,640. The kasunod is 88 times 92 is 8,096. And so on sa baba. So now, cut ulit muna natin. So now, let's continue again. So yun, nailagay na natin yung kabuuan ng x and y. Paano nga nakuha ang x and y dito sa ating table or sa ating data? X times y. So ibig sabihin itong halang ito, kita times mo lang dito at ito yung kinalabasan. So now, sa x squared naman tayo. Paano nga ba makukuha ang x squared? So ito po yung x natin. Lagyan lang natin siya ng squared. Like 80 squared. So, i-calculate natin siya kung ano yun. So, 80 squared is equals to 6,400. Then, 88 squared is 7,744. Then, so on lang siya sa pababa. So, 85 squared is 7,225. So, hanggang matapos po yung lahat ng x natin na mas squared lahat is ilipat naman natin siya dito sa x squared. So, ganun lang din po yung gagawin natin sa y squared kasi itong x na squared na natin, then sa y naman tayo. So, lagyan muna natin ito, punan muna natin para hindi tayo malito. So, stop muna ulit natin. So, now, let's continue. So, nailagay na natin lahat ng square x squared, I mean. So, yung square root natin is dito na galing or dito kinuha. So, yung y squared naman natin, ganun lang din ang gagawin. Kung ano yung ginawa natin kay x squared, ganun din yung gagawin natin kay y squared. Katulad ito, 83 squared is equals to 6,889. Then, 92 squared is equals to 8,464. So on lang din po siya, pababa at i-copy-paste natin sa y squared. So, tapos na tayo sa ating table or sa ating data. So, punta naman tayo sa kasunod. So, ang kasunod na po natin gagawin is, kung na-total natin siya ng ganyan, kung na-total, ilipat natin to yung squared nila papunta doon, pababa naman tayo para ito-total natin siya. Katulad ng ito. Ito po is n. So, number of sets. So, ibig sabihin po, 1 set, 2 set, 3 set, hanggang sa baba, 10 set. So, sa baba dapat siya ilalagay kasi wala nang space sa taas natin. So, ito naman, ang tawag dito is the sum of the number, which is the sum of x is equal equals to, ibig sabihin, yung total nitong lahat ng to, 80 plus 88 plus 85 plus 88, so on. So, isulat ko na lang po ulit siya para mas madali tayong matapos. Para mas mapakita na yung graph, then screen na lang din ulit. So, ito is 887. So, ganun lang din po yung total nito, lagay dito, total nito lahat, lagay dito, total nitong lahat ng pagbabak ito is ilalagay dito. Basta tatandaan mo, pag nakalagay ito, is ibig sabihin the sum of the number, parang lahat. So, now, tutuloy ulit muna natin para ilagay lang yung number. So now, nailagay ko na po yung kanilang mga total. So, wait lang. Ito po is 10. Yung kabuuhan ng lahat ng x is 887. Kabuuhan ng y is 895. Kabuuhan ng x and y is 79,690. At yung kabuuhan ng x squared is 79,033. At ang kabuuhan ng y squared is 80,417. So, nagawa na natin yung ating data or yung ating table. Now, kukuhain naman natin yung kanyang range. So now, punta naman tayo sa pagkuha ng ating range. Gagamitin natin yung kabilang blackboard para hindi natin mabura itong ating table or ating data para naman nakita natin mamaya kung kukuhain natin. Kasi sa solution, kailangan natin itong mga nasa. So now, ilapit natin din yung camera para mas kita natin. So, narito na po yung ating formula. So, kumuha na rin ako ng jot down para hindi tayo matagalan kung ano yung ilalagay. So, yung nandun sa kabilang blackboard, yung nilagay natin dito. So, yung R natin yung ating hinahanap. So, yung N natin, yung number of set natin is 10. So, simulan ko sa una. R is equals 10. Yung N natin dito is 10. Kasi number of set natin is 10. Yung student natin ay 10. Then, yung kabuuan ng ating XY is 79,619. Then, minus, kabuuan ng X is 887. Then, yung isa naman is kabuuhan ng ating Y, 895. Then, square root of N, yung 10 din natin, number of set. Tapos kabuuhan ng X squared. So, yun yung 79,033. Then, minus kabuuhan ng X, 887 squared. Then, may ganun pala siyang open close column. And dito naman open column ulit. Number of set, 10. Kabuuhan ng Y squared is 8. Open parenthesis lang siya. Kabuuhan is 80,417. So, wala ng chalk. Then, minus kabuuhan ng Y, 895 squared. Parang haba na masyado. Malaki kasi yung sulat ko. So, now, tinapos ko na yung ginagawa ko kanina dito para hindi na tayo mahirapan pang mag-isa. Tapos nababagalan pa tayo kasi baka malito lang din kayo kung saan ko nilalagay o bakit parang ang bagal kong magsulat. So now, tinapos ko na yung solution. Ito yung formula na ginamit ko. Tapos ito yung solution. Then, isipan natin ito kasi hindi. So, tingnan nyo na lang dun sa ating table sa kabilang blackboard yung sasabihin ko dito. So, yung number of sets is yung student na 1 to 10 pababa. Siya yun. So, dito natin siya nilagay. Tapos yung kabuuan ng x and y, which is 79,690, dito mo ilalagay. Minus, open and close parenthesis siya. Then minus x, y, kabuuan ng x. So, kabuuan ng x is 887. Then, kabuuan ng y is 895. Paka-check na lang sa table nyo bagay kayo ay magagawa ng solution na gamit natin ang pure meal lang nito. Ang pure meal lang yan is correlation coefficient or simple bifacial R or rate, yun. Then, yun. So, kung lang siya pababa, then 10 times 79,690, dito mo siya ilalagay. Then, 887 times 895, dito mo siya ilalagay. Then, ito 10 times 79,033, dito naman sa baba. And 887 square root dito sa baba. Then, yung parenthesis na nakaganon, ilalagay mo rin siya. Bring down lang ng bring down sa baba. Hanggang dito, 796,900 minus 793,865. Then, ang sagot is 3,035. So, over or divide, huwag kalilimutan ito, 3,561 times 3,145 is equals ito. Bagay isa na siya or wala na siyang details, multiple division or ganun, pwede mo na siyang square root. Saka mo siya i-square root, then 11,199,345 is i-square root mo siya, ang sagot is 3,347. So, itong 335, 335, hindi mo muna siya gagalawin hanggat yung nasa baba niya is hindi pa nagsusol or wala pa, or hindi na dinidivide, or hindi na siya kailangan bawasan, or ano. Now, na gano'n na siya. Then, ito na yung sagot. Ito wala na itong parenthesis dito. So, 3,035 divide 3,347 is equal to 0.906782193. So, round off of 91. So, itong 91 na to, yung tinatawag natin R. Tinatawag natin na range of correlation coefficient. And ang kanyang Z of correlation is very strong positive. So yun, konting patalastas na po. Nalubat kasi yung cellphone, kaya hindi na nasabot ang log video kanina. So, this is the degree of correlation. It's a very strong positive. So, yun na po yung data na gawa natin. So, now, let's proceed to the regression. It means, tapos na po tayo sa correlation.
Now, let's proceed to the linear regression. A simple linear regression model is a mathematical equation that allows us predict a response for a given prediction value. So, prediction is a calculating score of the criterion variable y on the basis of the knowledge of the predictor x. So now, let's proceed to define the solution of linear regression. So, ipapakita natin sa kabilang next slides video.
So now, let's proceed to the linear regression. So, ito po yung pure nila linear regression. Pero, paano natin makukuha sa m and y minus b minus m and x? So, kuhain muna natin sa m and y. M and y equals, kuhain na natin yung total dito ng m and y. Rather, yung total ng y. 895 divided by 10, number of sets 1 to 10 is equal to 89.5. Then, m and x naman is ganun lang din po yung gagawin natin. Yung kabuuan ng x is 887 divided by 10, which is the number of sets, is equal to 88.7. So, nakuha na natin ang MNY and MNX. Paano naman natin makukuha si B? Rather, hindi kasama sa negative. Siya ay minus. So, paano natin makukuha si B? So, let's proceed naman tayo sa kabilang formula. So, ito medyo mahaba-haba ito. So, i-focus natin dito yung camera. So, now, para makuha si B, so, B equals to N, which is the set number, si 10. Overcome muna siya. Then, kabuuan ng XY is equal to 79,690. So, open parenthesis. Then, 79,690. Minus, kabuuan ng X, 887. And kabuuan ng Y, 895. Para makasigurado kayo check nyo na lang dun sa table natin sa kabilang or doon sa data. Ang kasunod is ito na magbabakakuha natin. And kabuuan ng X squared is 79,033. Then minus kabuuan ng X is 887. Square root mo lang siya. Then, B is equals 10 times 79690 is equals to minus 887 times 895 is equals to 793,865 over of 10 times 79,033. 790,330. Then minus ito naman 887 square root is equals to 786,769. So now B equals 796,900 minus 793,865 is equals to 3,035. Then 790,330 minus 769 is equals to 3,561. So, ito na po yung magiging total niya. So, 3,035 divided by 3,561. So, B is equals dito 0.85. Siya yung B na ilalagay natin dito. So now, nakuha na natin si B, MNY, and MNX. So, makusolve na natin si formula ng linear regression. So now, ipalit na natin kung ano yung kalalabasan ng formula ng linear regression. So, i-erase ko muna ito. Yan. Then, binuhay ko lang yung ilaw para mas maliwanag. Kasi this is the last part of my presentation. So now, ipalit na natin itong formula ng linear. So, wala na dito. So, A equals MNY minus B MNX. So, A equals yung MNY na is 89.5 minus B minus B 0.85 and lalagay natin si M and X. M and X is 88.7. So, yun. Nakuha na natin yung nandun sa taas. Nilagay na natin dito. Then, isa-solve na natin siya papunta sa baba. So, A equals 89.5. Bring down lang siya. Then, minus 0.85 times 88.7 is equals to 75.395. So, now, let's proceed to minus na. Kasi wala na siya sa dulo. Then, isa na lang siya. Isa na lang. So, A equals 89.5 minus 5.395 is equals to 14.11. This is the A. And now, nakuha na rin natin si A. Ngayon, kabilang muna natin dito sa A para hindi tayo nilapad. 14.11. So, erase na rin natin ito. Kasi meron na namang panibagong formula na mapapasama si A, si M, and ito. Mapapasama sila. The formula is A plus BX. So, yan. So, ito naman yung ating hahanapin. So, Y equals, yung A natin is 14.11. Ayun siya, yung nilagay natin ito kanina. Yung hinanap natin, itong A. Then, plus yung BX natin. So, yung BX is ito, B. 0.85. Tapos yung X is then now Y equals 14.11 plus 0.85 times is equals to now then Y is equals to 14.11 is equals to so, yan po yung magiging sagot pagkatapos natin kuhain yung lahat. So, di ba po una natin kinuha si MNY, MNX, NAD B, tapos yun, nakuha natin sila, tapos nag-A14. So, narinindihan nyo naman po yung flow ng pagkuha. And this is the last part. So, ito po yung kuha. So, yun. Then, dito po nagtatapos yung aking presentation na ng data na kinuha natin yung scenario kanina na an example ko. Then have a great day, hindi na day, have a great night. Kinabot na tayo ng gabi. So, yun lang po at maraming salamat. Kung meron lang kayong mga tanungan, don't be shy. Magtanong po kayo pero bagay ay hindi ko nasagot. Pero sasagutin kong pilit. I can do anything I best para lang sagot yung mga tanong nyo in case na wala kayong naintindihan or maintindihan sa aking represent. Kasi it's my grade. Thank you po.
Thank you po!